In 1969, Miss Helen Moss of New Haven gave the Cheshire Historical Society 30 letters written by Titus Moss in 1862-63. After over 35 years in our files, these letters were transcribed last year by curator Marshall Robinson. It's quite clear that the letters are only part of the original correspondence. But although they tell mostly routine incidents, the letters do give a very vivid picture of Union Army life and a very kind, decent man struggling to adapt and worrying about his little family in Cheshire.
Welcome, everyone, to July 1862. Look around you. We are standing in an open field. The town hall will not be built for several years. Wallingford Road is here with all the houses you see now. Cheshire is a small town of about 2,000 people. The main industry is still farming, but 500 men from England and Ireland have come here to work in the barite mines. And the Cheshire Manufacturing Company, later called Ball and Socket, is making buttons for the uniforms of Union soldiers. The Civil War began a year ago, and we are now in the thick of fierce battles on land and water. 11 southern states have seceded from the Union and formed their own government. The United States is now divided in two. Emotions are running high with vigorous differences of opinion on the war, often called the rebellion. Many in the North view the withdrawal of the southern states as acts of treason and are ready to fight for a unified country. Others think that abolishing slavery is the main reason to keep fighting. In a few weeks, 53 young men from Cheshire will form Company A, 20th Regiment of the Union Army. During our walk this afternoon, you will meet and get to know a few people who were alive in Cheshire in the summer of 1862, and how their stories were changed because of this war.
After the attack on Fort Sumter in April 1861, the first call for troops by President Lincoln asked for only one regiment from Connecticut. The response was so great that 3 regiments were formed and sent. According to a paper on Cheshire in the Civil War, written by Society member Mrs. E.I. Pardee, it was at this time that a group of young men in Cheshire formed a military company called the Home Guards. Their captain was Timothy Guilford, who had previously held office in a militia company in Waterbury. In July 1862, when President Lincoln issued the second call for 300,000 volunteers for 3 years, Cheshire's Home Guards resolved to enlist, calling themselves the Russell Rifles, but later becoming Company A of the 20th Connecticut Volunteers.
It's Huntley, the telegraph operator.
This can't be good news. It's a news bulletin. Just in over the telegraph, President Lincoln calls for more troops. Let me read. I have made a decision to call for 300,000 more troops, chiefly infantry, that I hope will be raised without delay, and that an order fixing the quota required from each state will be issued by the War Department at once.
This is what we've been waiting for, men. We'll be the first to enlist. Hurrah! Watch it! You won't get away with deserting our country.
I fear that things are not going well for the Union. There will be money for soldiers, and I hear that Cheshire will vote to allot another $100 in addition for soldiers with families, $50 for single men.
It's not a matter of money, it's a matter of conscience.
I hear the Prospect has contributed the largest proportion of soldiers of any town in Connecticut. Cheshire boys will feel obligated to go.
The Southern people are saying the fatal blow has been dealt this grand army of the North. They think that their General Lee has turned the tide, and I fear Lee's army may begin to have a lot of success.
I fear there will be many objections to this draft. The protesters say this is a total war, a war to destroy the Old South instead of to restore the old Union.
The Old South includes slaves, and I, for one, intend to keep on fighting, if only to end slavery, an inhumane practice.
I too must go and fight for what I believe in.
Hooray for you, Moss.
So now I must tell my son that at home he must mind his mother and do all that he can to help her. She has so much to do, and Emma's not big enough to help very much. I will be far from home and won't be able to help. So my son Howard will have to do much of the work at home. He must kiss his mother and his sister and be kind and just and good as he can while I am gone. It is my aim and my prayer that I may act as it becomes a soldier. I have been blessed beyond what I have right to expect, with health and friends, and I endeavor to be thankful for them.
We wish you well, dear Titus. And to all you, soldiers and your families, our thoughts will be of you.
Nancy, this granddaughter of yours is just delightful. She has beautiful manners and she's very sweet in spite of her health.
Thank you for your kind words and for your care of my young Emma. What shall we do for her?
Have you met our nurse? This is our nurse, Emma and Mrs. Moss. Our nurse has taken care of many people in Cheshire.
It's true.
Hello. My cousin is the faithful caretaker of the garden, and she has and I have worked together so that we could select some very good medicinal herbs to help you out. And we selected 3 different kinds of herbs.
Thank you, nurse. I am most grateful for your help.
The first remedy we have is called hyssop, and it is made into a tea. And we are going to take this plant and cook it, and then we'll put it together, and you'll have it so that it helps your cough. And you can even, we have a special cup for you too. We can put the tea in here, and you can look at it if you'd like. You want to hold this, and you can pretend to drink from it now, but that's how you'll do it later. Okay, I can put it down here. You can hold it. The second thing that we have is a mustard plaster. And this is used this way. We take the mustard seeds and we grind them up and we mix them with some flour and water. And then we put it on a cloth. And we then are able to put it right on your chest. And that makes chests feel much better because it brings warmth and circulation to the area.
How does this plaster work?
It really increases the blood supply to the area and helps her heal.
We are most grateful, nurse. Emma also has trouble sleeping from time to time. I worry that she's not getting the rest she needs.
Smell this. This is a lovely bunch of lavender, and if you put it under your pillow or when you're going to bed or when you're taking a nap, you never smell the mustard plaster, and it just has a lovely scent, and so that you feel just wonderful and drop off to sleep.
So then my daughter will get well?
Oh, young Emma here is young and strong, and I know she's going to get better.
My sincere thanks to all of you for your help and good wishes.
Oh, goodbye, and we'll see you in a bit.
My dear Jennette, I need to have a moment to speak with you, if I might.
Oh my, I see the signs of melancholia and strife. Perhaps some chamomile tea would be in order.
I think, dear Lucy, there are times of heartbreak when nothing seems to help.
Oh, Oh, Mrs. Moon, come here. We didn't want to talk to you in front of the Mosses, but tell me, how is your son? I know he enlisted last year, right?
Yes, young William is fine. Thank you for asking. He enlisted in the 15th Regiment last year. He was at the Battle of New Orleans, so thank God he survives thus far. Thank you for asking. And I must tell you that the money he got when he enlisted has made it possible for us to buy our house. When he first came here from England, for my husband to work in the mine, we rented a house that Mr. Cornwall had built. Now we are the owners with a mortgage to Mr. Cornwall, and my son is out of the mine, for which I am thankful.
The waiting is hard, isn't it? I know Titus, my son, her father, is thinking he should enlist, but he's also needed here at home. A hard decision. He was always a thoughtful boy, maybe even too serious.
Oh.
Everything is ready for the party.
Oh, thank
you.
And we're ready too. Thank you. Nancy, my dear friend, this bouquet is for you. Now, let's go around to the front and go on into the party.
Thank you, Lucy. On our way.
Connecticut sent over 54,000 men to the Civil War. Over 5,000 died, many from diseases. From Cheshire, 126 men enlisted. Their names are here on this monument, which was put in place in 1866, a year after the war was over. In our stories today, we have met a number of people, both soldiers and civilians. You may wonder what became of them. Let's find out. Edward Cornwall?
Edward Cornwall was a popular man, active in many roles. He was Justice of the Peace, Selectman, Judge of the Probate, Town Clerk, and served in the General Assembly 7 times. After his death, Elm Street was renamed Cornwall Avenue. His home is now an office building.
Joseph Perkins Beach.
Joseph Beach came back to live in Cheshire in 1867. Around the same time he finished his History of Cheshire. The book describes the earliest beginnings of the town in 1694, with many farms and families described in detail. The Mosses, Ives, Brooks, and Doolittles.
Admiral Foote.
Even though Andrew Hull Foote was 56 in 1862, he wanted to go back and serve again after his wound healed, but he died on his way to his next command in June 1863. He is buried in the Grove Street Cemetery in New Haven in a large ornate tomb. The Navy Department obituary said of him, "A gallant and distinguished naval officer is lost to the country."
Commodore Hitchcock.
Commodore Hitchcock's military career was a long and successful one. In his 50s, at the time of the Civil War, he commanded several ships and following the war was in charge of a naval yard in Cold Spring, New York, the town where he is buried. Hitchcock presided over the ceremony held right here in 1866 when this monument was put in place. Look for the portrait of Commodore Hitchcock over the fireplace inside the Historical Society house.
William Moon.
William Jr. was mustered out in 1865 at the end of the war and came home to Connecticut. We sold the house on Elm Street after the barite mines closed in 1878 and hoped to head west in search of more opportunities. William stayed here in Connecticut for several years after the war.
Alonzo Smith served, then was mustered out, and became the secretary to Connecticut's 20th Regiment, keeping in touch with all the men in that regiment. Nettie Smith, his granddaughter, took over after his death as secretary to the regiment. Her notes are in the Historical Society library. George Keeler was a sergeant in Company A with all the Cheshire boys, including Titus Moss. Keeler was wounded twice. Finally, he was discharged because of disability on December 22, 1864. Captain Guilford, what became of you?
Captain Timothy Guilford enlisted in the Connecticut 20th Regiment, formed up in New Haven, September 8, 1862. He served during the whole war, survived, and went to work for the Waterbury Button Company. His final resting place is in Waterbury.
About the Mosses. The house where Titus Moss lived, 859 Moss Farms Road, is pictured in Landmarks of Old Cheshire, 1976, but has since been demolished. As for Titus,
I enlisted with the Guilfords, several of the Doolittles, Alonzo Smith, George Keeler, all of us, in Connecticut's 20th Regiment. I died on the battlefield of Chancellorsville, the last day of that battle, in the spring of 1863. I was struck and wounded, and did not think it was serious at first. As I lay there, my final thoughts, however, were of Jennette and my beloved children. Captain Guilford had the onerous task of writing the news of the death to my family.
I'll never forget. The letter arrived on my 36th birthday, the 15th of June, in the year of 1863. To Mr. Julius Moss, from Captain Timothy Guilford. Camp of the 20th Connecticut Volunteers near Stafford Courthouse, June 11, 1863. Friend Moss, dear sir, I must perform an unpleasant duty today. Colonel Worcester returned to camp yesterday and gave me some information in regard to our missing men. He says he knew your brother, had often seen him talking with Mr. Sanford, our old chaplain, when they messed together, and has the distinct recollection of seeing him on the battlefield at Chancellorsville, lying among the dead. This was when he was permitted by his captors to pass along under a strict guard near the line of works where our regiment lay on that terrible Sunday morning, May 3rd. He says he knew the face and figure of the man well, but associated him with the name of Joel I. Brooks, and that is the reason your brother's name did not appear in his report of the killed and wounded left on the field. After talking with Colonel, I am forced with the conviction that the most worthy and useful man of Company A was killed on the field of battle while nobly fighting the enemies of his country. 'Twould be difficult to find a man in the whole regiment who left his home and interesting family from motives as purely and unselfishly patriotic as Titus Moss. Always helpful toward others, and never wanting help himself, always considerate of others and forbearing, and maintaining a truly Christian spirit and conversation amid the demoralizing influences of the camp, he won the respect of and endeared himself to the whole company. The return of none was looked for after the battle with more earnest hope, and now that hope seems to be extinguished. I feel, my friend, that any attempt I can make toward assuaging a grief so profound as that you and the family of the deceased must feel, must fall far short of its object. I am with respect yours truly, Timothy Guilford.
Titus Moss's remains never came back to Cheshire. He was buried where he fell, on the battlefield at Chancellorsville, Virginia. The Moss family's place of rest is marked by an obelisk at St. Peter's graveyard. And what of Emma?
With the kind permission of those gathered here, I will read something that I wrote. Little Emma is gone to heaven, on November 26, 1863, an angel came and took her away. She was a lovely child, gentle and loving, the pet of our family, the youngest, only in her 6th year. But she could not stay with us any longer. Now that she is gone, I do not feel that I have sinned in loving her too well. If I went from home, she claimed it as her right to be the first to welcome me on my return.
But all this is changed now. Death has set his seal on my beautiful one, and I am bereaved indeed. Many long and gloomy weeks have passed since I saw her in her last untroubled sleep. Oh, much as I had always loved her, I never looked upon her with such pride and tenderness as when I saw her wrestling with disease and death. Her sufferings were terrible, but she bore up against them with a brave fortitude that seemed wonderful in one of her tender years.
Mrs. Moss, what became of Howard, your son?
My son Howard was such a blessing throughout this time. If we could look forward at Howard in 1872, he is 16 then, and the man of the house. Howard, dear, would you please carry on from here?
Of course, Mother. I remember my father every day of my life and try to be what he wanted me to be. I hope he would be proud of me for being active in our church, for my looking after Mother, and even my choice of wife. Mr. Beecher, I'm asking for your lovely Mary's hand in marriage.
You have my blessing.
And now that the future has been revealed, let's go back in time once again to this day in 1862. Let's drink to 1862 and the better times that lie ahead. Here's to Cheshire and to the Union.
The Union! Yeah!
Water.